What's up, everybody? Hope you guys all had a good start to your trading week. How's everybody doing? How's the snow? It's great, Levon. Couldn't ask for much more. I truly could not ask for any more. What's up, John? What's up, Sasi? All right, I'm gonna give it just a second here and we will go ahead and get started. So for any of you guys that are new here, welcome in. This is the Monday night charting session and Q&A. We're gonna be going over my entire watch list from A to Z here, seeing what I'm liking for tomorrow and possibly the rest of the week, just depending on obviously the setups that we see and when these setups end up playing out. I do also want to go over the earnings in the calendar tonight because we do have quite a bit this week. So give me just a second and I will pull this up. All right, let's see, is that in frame? Hopefully that's in frame. And of course this is going to be way zoomed in. All right, whatever. Hold up. All right. Are we in frame here? All right, cool. Should be good to go here. What's up, Tony? What's up, Ed? What's up, Sasi, John? All right. So news for this week. Obviously, Monday, we're already done with this, so we don't really need to go over any of that. But the rest of the news for the week, we have FOMC meeting starting tomorrow. Tomorrow morning. We have consumer confidence at 10 a.m. We have new home sales at 10 a.m. as well. So 10 a.m. news, I'm definitely going to be paying attention to that. We also have Wednesday. We have durable goods, international trading goods, wholesale inventories at 8:30, petroleum status report at 10:30, and we have FOMC at 2. We also have Powell speaking at 2:30. So FOMC on Wednesday. Definitely something to be looking out for this week. Tomorrow and Wednesday, I would honestly expect some fairly choppy price action, which is on top of the price action we've already been seeing. I'm not going to be expecting much, to be honest with you guys. I always try and shoot straight here, but yeah, I'm really not expecting much tradable price action until Thursday, really. And then Thursday, we have jobless claims pre-market. We have factory orders at 10, natural gas at 10:30, so not much I'm paying attention to on Thursday. And then Friday, we have Chicago PMI 15 minutes into market open, and that is really all that I'm looking forward to this week. Now, as far as earnings go, we are cutting out a lot of our big hitters up until basically Thursday morning because Tesla, Microsoft, Meta, those are some of our most traded stocks, and they all have earnings on Wednesday after close, which means up until Thursday morning, these are pretty much useless to us. We also have Apple after close on Thursday. We do have BA pre-market tomorrow, which is something I am going to be keeping an eye on, but yeah, a mixture between FOMC plus all of our big hitters having earnings. We are not looking at a very crazy week this week, guys. So definitely a week that we want to be playing it a bit lower risk than usual. And if that means skipping trades, then that means skipping trades, and it is what it is. Now, personally, I'm trying to find a happy medium here between trades that I would take and trades that are safe for the masses. And really, you're in a lose-lose situation on weeks like this, honestly. Like, I'm going to end up skipping something that probably people wish I would have taken. I'm probably going to end up taking something that I don't end up signaling. And, you know, if that happens and it plays out, people are going to be upset that I didn't signal. So, like, it's like a lose-lose situation no matter how we're approaching this week. So either way, I'm trying my best to bridge the gap between trades that I would take for myself and trades that are good for everyone. And that's a little bit of a difficult task to do. So you're going to have to bear with me over the next couple of days here. But we will go ahead and check these setups that we've got. Like I said, I'm not expecting anything too crazy this week up until at least Thursday. So we'll see here. We may end up having a super, super tiny watch list, and we may end up having a whole bunch of stuff on the watch list. We're just going to have to see. So I am just going to keep these earnings pulled up over here just so I remember which stocks do have earnings. So I'm going to actually do the opposite. I usually mark the stocks that I'm looking at. I'm actually going to mark all the stocks that I can't even look at, just because I feel like it's honestly going to be easier. It's going to be easier marking the ones that I can't look at than the ones that I can. So Tesla is off. Microsoft is off. Where is that? Meta is off. Apple is off. AMD doesn't have earnings until next week. Okay. So what do we have? Tesla, Microsoft, Meta, Apple. I don't believe that there's anything else here on my watch list. But these are definitely the ones that are kind of my go-tos. So either way, we'll see here. So let's see. Starting off here, we're going to just start off with AMD. AMD, we could look at low of day from today, but we are leading into an area where we have been getting bought up pretty aggressively every single time we've tapped down into this range. So this low of day actually might be worth it here. We're going to be playing this into 250. We do have another support here at, what is this? 249.05, and then the next major support is not going to be down here until 246.69. So really though, between 249.05 and 246.69, I would expect to see some buying stepping in. So really anything below 249.05, I'm going to be super alert on this if we are hesitating whatsoever. So realistically, looking at 250.30, targeting a break below 249. Anything below that, honestly, it's going to be pretty lucky for us if we end up seeing solid price action below that. So yeah, AMD is looking all right. And since I have all these stocks marked that I can't look at, I'm probably just going to go ahead and make the watch list as we move through here rather than waiting until the very end. So let me move my face real quick. There we go. And we will get rid of all that. So AMD, looking at the 250.30 low of day from today for a break to the downside, targeting a move to the next support at 249.05 into the 249 break. Below 249, I would expect to see some buying pressure stepping in. So if we see sellers hesitating below this, I will be looking to exit my position ASAP. Boom. All right. There's AMD. Next up here, we have nothing on Amazon. Just some consolidation right now. Honestly, that's about all we have. So AVGO actually ended up pushing pretty nicely today. I like high of day on AVGO. This looks nice. Kind of forming an inverse H here on time frames higher than the 1 hour. Let's see here. I think we actually have pretty easy room on this up to 330. Let's check and see if we have any trends. We do have a trend right above this freaking level. Of course we do. Sorry. Other than the 15-minute, we have room up to 330 pretty easily. So we just need to be cautious of that 15-minute trend. So yeah, this looks all right as well. We'll go ahead and throw this on. So AVGO, looking at the 328.68 high of day from today for a breakout. We are forming an inverse H pattern on the higher time frames, targeting a move to the 330 break. We do have a 15-minute trend lining up right above our entry level. So if we see hesitation, I will be looking to cut this trade. Beautiful. All right. AVGO, AMD, those are both looking pretty good. Next up here, BA is looking all sorts of crazy because of this wick. This wick is not even real. This chart is just looking insane. We do have earnings on this tomorrow morning though, so that's going to be something I'm going to just put on the side watch to check pre-market just because of the fact that we have earnings. But other than that, I don't have anything specific on BA right now. BABA looks like it could be a solid opportunity here at the high of day once again. Looks like we're trying to form a little inverted head and shoulders here and form this into a recovery back to the upside here. But BABA is one of those that I feel like every single time I make a plan on it at night, by the time we get to pre-market, it is so far gone. So that's going to be another one that I just add on to the side watch just to pay attention to. Circle, not doing a whole lot here. We do have a resistance at the 72.58 level. I believe that's what it was. I'm sorry. 72.55. We don't have a ton of room on this though, so I will probably pass up on that one. I'm just skipping past CRM because that stock literally never has volume. So here we go. CRWV. CRWV is nowhere where I need it. EDOG, I'm all good. Disney, I'm all good as well. Google, I like Google at 336.48. I don't think I'm going to be interested in the high of day though. Yeah, I'm just going to wait for 336.48 on this. So Google, I do like, we have nice room. So let's see here. Google, looking at the 336.48 resistance on the 1 hour for a breakout. Targeting a move to the 337 break. Then the next resistance at 337.49. For my final target. Not target. There we go. That's looking good. Next up here, Hood. I am going to pass. We've been stuck in this range on Hood for way too long. So I'm not going to be interested on this until we get out of this. Now, we might have a really nice breakout on the day that we do finally get out of it, but up until then, I'm all good. Meta, I'm going to have to skip past because we can't really do anything with it anyways. Same with Microsoft. MSTR, not doing a whole lot here. No setups that I'm interested in. MU, we did end up selling off this morning, but we closed the day. I mean, we did close the day red, but we really didn't have much of a sell-off overall. We pretty much recovered all of that after hours. So as of right now, I'm pretty much uninterested in MU. Pretty much uninterested. Maybe pre-market we might form some kind of setup that makes high of day from today look good, but I'm not counting on it. NVIDIA just in straight chop. Beautiful. OKLO. I am all good on this one as well. Oracle. Man, Oracle looks good at high of day again. These breakouts have just not been too clean. So seems like we're going to have to be catching something off open, which you guys know I hate taking like first minute candles, but really those are like the only candles that have been actually having any follow through. So Oracle, I do like. Unfortunately, I do think we're going to have to get it off open. Like if we are there at open, we're probably just going to have to take it off open. Clearly the patience and the rule following is not the kind of mood that the market has been in recently. So Oracle looking at the 185.31 flat top from Monday for a breakout. Targeting a move to the next resistance at 186.18. Above this, we have room to where? Really have room up to like 180, 188, then 188.25. Okay. Above this, we have room to 188, then the 188.25 break. That's not looking too bad. Also, why do I have a million scratch pads opened up? I don't like that. All right, cool. Yeah, Oracle looks good. I do like that. TLTR, I'm all good. Okay, let's see here. I believe that might be it, guys. I believe that might be it. So, what I've got for tomorrow, I have AMD downside, AVGO upside, Google upside, Oracle upside, and then we said we were going to put BA and BABA on the side watch. Side watch, BA, check pre-market, and BABA, check pre-market. BA, we're checking pre-market after earnings. BABA, we are checking pre-market for a potential recovery. So we'll go ahead and do that and that right there. Boom. All right, so that's the watch list that I've got for tomorrow, guys. If you guys are not in the floor, feel free to screenshot this. Do what you want to do with it. Not financial advice, but this is what I am personally interested in. So if you want to screenshot it, screenshot it. If you don't, then don't. And also, if you guys are not in the floor and you want to trade with me and the team, click that first link in the description. And we'd love to see you in there. But we have quite a bit of time left here. We've got about 30 minutes left until the end of this stream here. So if you guys want to turn this into a Q&A, feel free to ask your Qs and I will A them. Okay, I'm gonna get my face off the screen real quick and I'll make this bigger so you guys can screenshot it. I'll give you a second to ask your questions and we will get right back. All right, we're back. I would imagine that gave everybody time to screenshot. Levon, I will have that up tomorrow. But do we have any questions here? We've got people in here. If we have any questions, I'm happy to sit around and answer them for as long as you'd like. But if not, then I guess we can get back to the rest of our Monday nights here. Also, the whole new options contract thing, I guess that's not taking effect until next week, right? Karthik, I don't know how to say your whole name, I'm sorry. How much did I make? I made $972 today. Now, that was not off of the signals, unfortunately. Like I said, kind of a lose-lose situation for me this week. The trades that I took off mic were the ones that I made the most off of. They are available now. Do a delta risk reward on a trade showing the calculations just for review. Dave, I have that whole lesson recorded and I'm going to post that tomorrow. That's for Discord members, my friend. They're available now. Are they available now on Tesla? I'm not seeing them. I see January 30th and I see February 2nd and February 4th. Not seeing anything for this week, right? I guess when I said they're waiting to take effect until next week, I mean, we don't have any that we can actually mess with this week. Because I'm looking at them right here. Like, they're up there for next week, but they're not up there for this week. I feel like that was an odd way for them to announce that, though. Hey, guys, we're taking effect on this today. But that really means they're just putting them up for next week. Well, right, yeah, you can buy them for next week, right? But that's not what I'm getting at. I'm getting at, like, we can't use them until next week to make them any different than just trading our same weekly contracts. What is it? What is what, Eddie? Are you talking about the new contracts? Well, how much start for beginner? So I personally started with 2K. I've seen people start with anywhere between 1 to 2K. I think that's actually a very healthy starting point. Honestly, less than 1,000, it is absolutely possible. It's just a lot more difficult because you're going to be a lot more restricted on what you can and cannot do, and you're going to have to be on top of your game 24/7. Right? Like, you don't really have a ton of room for error. Now, that does not mean that you don't have room to follow your stop losses. You always have room to follow your stop losses. But when I say error, I mean like doing things that you know you shouldn't be doing. First link in the description. Karthik. I'm swinging for the fences here on trying to read your name. I'm sorry about that, but first link in the description. Is it okay for beginners? I try and make it good for everybody. So I guess that's gonna be up to you to decide. Yeah, pretty much, Eddie. I would say that it's good for beginners. I mean, we have a library tab with all the beginner intro stuff pinned in it. You know, all the stuff that we talk about on a daily basis that would be confusing for people if they had absolutely no idea what they were doing. I guess people that are in the chat are gonna have to vouch whether it's good for beginners or not. I try my best to make it good for beginners. Now, I will say there's probably some things that I have honestly just forgotten about. Not forgotten about like trading wise, but beginner wise. Like I tried to think about everything that I was confused about when I first started, but after doing it for such a long time, it genuinely is a little bit difficult to remember what I did not know. So yeah, I did my best to cover all the stuff that I was confused about when I first started. And then everything else, that's what we host the lessons for. All right, so we have these videos pinned, so when you first join, you can go through, you can get all your basic info, then you can come to the lessons, and then you actually have stuff to ask questions about. Now, if we didn't host the lessons, then you know, maybe not so great for beginners, but we do have lessons almost every night. The only weeknights that we don't have lessons are Tuesdays and Fridays. Let's see here. Most definitely. Chat shortens learning curve drastically. Thank you, Eddie. Definitely good for beginners. That being said, it's important to put in the work. Absolutely, John. See, like, John, I don't know how long John's been here. I think John's only been here for like a month. And John, I believe, has been at every single lesson. And John is also doing a very good job, from what I can tell. Put in work and don't be afraid to ask questions. That's literally what I preach. I like it. Yeah, I don't understand the whole, you know, showing up to lessons and not asking questions, or just not showing up to lessons because you don't feel comfortable asking questions. Like, literally everybody started from the same spot. Everybody started from knowing nothing. So like there's no such thing as a stupid question, and nobody's going to be upset with you for asking a question over something that you're trying to get better at. Like, that's literally what we're here for, is to help you get better. So yeah. Let's see. Okay, if you have any time, please let me know how to draw resistance or support. All right, so there's a reason that I don't have a YouTube video on how to chart support and resistance levels, because it literally is this simple, okay? Now, it might take you a little bit more time than it's gonna take me, because I've been looking at these charts for a very long time. But the basics of drawing support and resistance levels, all right? We are looking for peaks and valleys. Every peak is a resistance, every valley is a support, okay? So if I draw this right here, this is chat participation. How many resistances do we have? Okay. Eddie already knew what I was doing here. Karthik. The answer is 2. The answer is 2. The reason is because we have 1 peak, we have 2 peaks, but we have yet to peak out on this move yet, right? We're still moving up at this point. And just pretend we're looking at this on any time frame of a chart, okay? If we have not peaked out yet, we do not have a resistance. Okay, so this is not a resistance. We are still making this upside move. We don't have another resistance until we peak out. Once we peak out, Boom, we have a resistance. That's great. And that peak can be in the form of a wick. It can be in the form of the stock actually turning around. It doesn't really matter. But if we are continuously moving up, no, we do not have a resistance here. Okay? Now, same thing for the supports. How many supports do we have? Perfect. Boom. 1 and 2. Okay? Now, we know that every peak is a resistance, every valley is a support. Okay? Now, what happens if we have something that looks like this right here? Now, how many supports do we have? I'm waiting until I see the correct answer. We do have 3 resistances, but how many supports do we have? 1, 2, 3 resistances. How many supports? There it is. I saw it. 0. We have 0 supports. Now, I know that right here and right here, these were support levels, but we broke these support levels. So once we break these support levels, those are no longer valid levels for entry. Okay? Exactly. We already broke the levels. When we are playing breakout trades, it's kind of like popping a balloon. Okay? You have a whole bunch of air built up in that balloon, you stick a needle in it, and it pops. Okay? Same kind of thing that we're talking about with these resistance and support breakouts. We have a whole lot of pressure built up here, and once we break, we have already broken. You can't pop the balloon again. Once the balloon's already been popped, it's not going to be popped again. Now, when you are charting out these supports and resistances, you can disregard every level that has already been broken, okay? So this right here would show us, even though these levels used to be resistances, right? This right here used to be a resistance. This right here used to be a support. They don't matter anymore because they've already been broken, okay? So if you're charting and you're looking right here, and you look over to the right and you see that the chart has passed through that level is no longer important to us, okay? Because we broke above this resistance, we broke below this support, so we're not going to chart them. We don't need to chart them. There's nothing there. So really, the only resistances that we have here is this and this. And the only supports that we have here are this and this. Even though this did used to be a support and this did used to be a resistance, they don't matter anymore because they've already been broken. Okay? Is this making sense? Okay, cool. So they are all valid, technically. Now, when I am making a plan, I would prefer to see that my setups, I would prefer to find my setups on like the 30-minute time frame or higher. That is where I would prefer to find my setups. Doesn't mean we have to, but that's where I would like them to be. Anything higher than the 30-minute. Now, if we're looking at intraday levels, that's fine. You can find supports and resistances on the 1 minute, but when I'm looking for a bigger setup, I want to find it on a bigger time frame. Like, sure, we can look at the 1 minute right here on Microsoft and we can plot out a resistance here. We can plot out a resistance here, but they're just not very big levels. Same thing here with, let's go to like Hood. All right, well, I can plot a bunch of resistances here on Hood that we could look at technically, but they're just not that big of a deal. They were all just intraday resistances that we formed throughout the day, right? So I can draw all these here on Hood, but that doesn't mean that I actually want to be playing them, okay? What time frames do I enter? So I'm always looking at the 1 minute time frame for my execution. So when I'm taking a trade, I'm looking at this screen right here. My face is kind of in the way. But when I'm taking a trade, I'm looking at this screen right here. I have the same stock pulled up on 3 different time frames. I always keep this top left one set to the 1 minute, and this is mainly what I'm focusing on when I'm executing. I will have the 5 or 15 minute pulled up in the middle and the 30 minute or 1 hour pulled up here on the right, just so I can monitor the other time frames. But when I'm actually making that execution decision, I'm going to be looking at the 1 minute. The reason for that is because the 1 minute time frame is giving me the most amount of information that I can get out of a chart. And I already found my levels on the higher time frames, and my levels are already marked. Okay? So since my levels are already marked, I don't need to be looking at them on the higher time frame. I already know where I got that level from. I've already created a plan for that level, which you guys can see right here. And I create these plans every single morning. So since I've already created a plan around that level, I don't need to be looking at it on a big chart like this. And I don't need to be looking at the entire previous day of 1 minute price action. I really only need to just see what's happening right now. Okay? So yeah, I'm executing on the 1 minute time frame. $30-minute time frame is not closed for the candle. That doesn't matter. Not worried about that. Not worried about that. We're finding the levels on higher time frames and we're executing them. I mean, you can execute on the 30-minute time frame if you really want to, but it's not going to be as informational as executing on the 1 minute. I don't really care about a candle close on the 30-minute. Like, that's not changing my trade at all. If I have a level there, I have a level there. If I don't, I don't. Plus, we're not looking to be in these trades for a super long time anyways. These trades are fairly quick. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, we do have like an insane deal going on right now. So if you just click on that first link in the description, I really don't even see a point in putting it off, to be honest. But either way, do we have any more questions here? How much risk for $2,000 account? That's a personal thing, Karthik. It's really up to what is comfortable for you. Personally, I would not be looking to risk much more than like $200 a trade, to be honest. But I feel like that's even still pretty aggressive for some people. So I would keep your risk as minimal as you can. So One contract is what I would recommend if you're starting out. I would actually recommend paper trading if you're starting out, but I know a lot of people are just trying to make money fast, so paper trading doesn't really fit into the equation of making money fast. No problem, Karthik. Can I get some confirmation on whether I'm even close to saying your name right? I've been repeating different pronunciations this entire stream. Yeah, Ray, I agree with that, but also it's the amount of times I've seen people get into a trade and literally not even know how to get back out is crazy. So paper trading is going to help you get through that. Different pronunciations. All right, cool. Close enough then. Awesome, Karthik. Don't get caught executing on larger time frames and waiting for those candles to invalidate the trade because you'll have huge drawdown potential. Yeah, absolutely. That's why I'm executing on the lower time frames. The type of risk that we would be taking on, honestly, executing on high time frames is just too much for the trades that we're looking for. So, awesome. Awesome. I love to see it. I love to see it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if we don't have any more questions here, we can go ahead and wrap this up. But thank you guys all for coming out tonight. I'm going to pop this up one more time here. Watch list for tomorrow, just so you guys can screenshot, mark out the levels, watch it. And yeah. And Draco just has to make his presence known right before the end of the stream. What are you doing, dude? There he is. All right, guys. Have a good rest of your night. I'll talk to you all first thing in the morning for pre-market review. Draco says bye.